to this place? You know, how did you hear about it?
It wasn't connections, so
okay.
Yeah, no connections for me. It was so we started from that zero, and we had so we started with 3 stores, and we grew it, and we're sitting now at 241 AT&T stores. There's about 40 Simply Mac stores, and another. We actually run a cricket division for GameStop too that has, I think, 52 stores. So together, I mean, there's over 350 doors now. And the revenue combined this year will probably come somewhere in the $500 million mark. So it really was a little bit of serendipity. They may teach you that in school, but a lot of it's luck, right?
Right.
It doesn't all just come together. Some people work their eyeballs out and do a great job and never get a break. Some get more breaks than others, and some breaks are billion-dollar breaks, some breaks are million-dollar breaks, and so it is what it is. But I do believe the harder you work, the luckier you get, and I was always one that worked hard. So putting myself through school, supporting a family, I got into the mobile phone business, and it was it was great timing because it was just taking off. And you guys are too young to know, but mobile phones back in the early 2000s, 2001, mobile phones were not a commodity that just everybody had, right? They were very expensive. Very expensive, big phones. They're installed in cars. But it was that time when it was transitioning from just a few select rich people had them to where it became affordable and everybody could have them. And really, it was just a referral from a friend. I was managing a Gold's Gym in Ogden and doing that full time, going to school full time. And I was looking for a change, and he said, "Hey, there's this new industry that sells cell phones, and the name of the business is Cellular Technologies." And it really took off for me, and I did really well. Felt like I understood the business and was their top producer just immediately. And but it wasn't too long after that owner, and he was young. He was only 23 years old, and he had about 20 doors. He started spending the money in the wrong way, not the right way, and putting the business at risk. And I got in a position where they weren't paying me on time and paying me late, and so I just said, I'm going to leave these guys. I'm going to start my own thing, and I settled in on going and figure out how to do this on my own. The company that I was with ended up going bankrupt, and we ended up going back and buying 3 stores from them out of as an asset purchase. And with those 3 doors, we began a new business, and we called it Spring. At the time, Spring Communications, even though we're called Spring Mobile today. So that was how it started. Nothing glamorous. No connections whatsoever. It was good timing with an industry starting. In my mind, that's why I call it the serendipity. You still have to have the other pieces put together. You still have to work hard. You still have to, be good at what you do, those kinds of things. But then if you can combine that with good timing, then big things can happen. And you got to become good at it, right? So you got to figure out something that fits you. Because if it doesn't fit you and you're not good at it, then usually you're not going to be happy doing it. And if you're not happy doing it, guess what? You're not going to produce good results. You can be like leaving early because you don't want to be hanging out there. You can be looking for something else. And how are you ever going to produce something great if you're not passionate about what you're doing? I was always an entrepreneur. I had my own dog fencing business. I had my own car detailing business. I didn't know what I was going to get into. I just know I needed to provide for my family. But I had great work ethic. I was always optimistic. I thought I could do whatever I wanted to do, whatever it was going to be. I didn't know what it was. And then things just materialized naturally. Balance is hard. And the advice I would give, because I see people go, "Oh, family's the most important thing," which it is, but there's always time in the season, right? And I hear people that they're in their young 20s, just got married and have a kid on the way, so I can't work any more than 40 hours, and I've got to do this because I've got a family, and that's the most important thing to me. And I go, you got 20 years with that family just to get the kid growing, and then more kids. You probably got 30 years of raising kids. Mm-hmm. I always say this rule: everything should be situational, okay? There's nothing more unequal than equal treatment of unequals. That means everything should be dealt with differently, right? So maybe in the early part of my career, go work your eyeballs out. You're young, who cares? While you have energy, while you have health, what if you get sick and become disabled, right? Well, I wish I would have got further in my career so I could have had disability with a nice company. But just remember, it's time and season, so, and it also be working towards your purpose, right? And in my mind, what's the purpose of this life? It's really to find happiness. Figure out what level, where you want to be. Just make sure you find happiness there, and that's all that matters. So if you want to go be a plumber, and earn $40,000 a year, but you're happy, who cares? Because that's if that makes you happy and your family happy, that's what matters. Because people work a lot and earn a lot and never find happiness. And guess what? This life's about finding happiness. So that would be my, how do you find the balance? Well, keep perspective. Know that sometimes it's not always great, right? But you keep a perspective. But have enough balance to where you find happiness and joy in what you're doing. Because that's what we're doing it for. And if you don't find happiness and joy, well, you're going to miss out on the main purpose of life. Yeah. So, and again, happiness can be found at all levels of the spectrum. Okay? And also unhappiness can be found at all levels of the spectrum. So balance is key, and happiness is the goal.